I'm Amelia Nickerson. I'm the CEO at First Step Staffing. So First Step is really about supporting the dignity of the individual through employment. So we use a staffing business model working with private businesses, but employ people who are experiencing homelessness, veterans, those impacted by the criminal justice system, really those that are getting turned away from the workforce and giving them that first step back into the labor market and a chance to get back on their feet. So we were founded in 2007 in Atlanta, Georgia. Today we operate in 7 states and employ close to 8,000 men and women a year. But the impetus for starting really was a kind of focus on providing that income gap for individuals that were facing homelessness or, like I said, were getting kind of left out of our labor market. And our founder really understood that without a job and income, they were left in a vicious cycle of poverty. I think as we've grown into these new cities, which have been both through acquisition and through some of our business partnerships, we've seen that the job is so much more than the income, that it really is a catalyst for somebody to be able to turn their life around and leads to things like dignity and hope and somebody's opportunity to really control their own lives and have opportunities for advancement and a chance to really get self-sufficient. We call ourselves First Step, but we're really not ever the first stop, that we're working with a population that is highly motivated, that is interested in working, that wants a job for themselves and sometimes often for their families, but is just getting told no repeatedly. Sometimes that is because of a criminal background issue, and 1 in 3 Americans have a background, so that is really sidelining a large population. Sometimes it's chronic homelessness or other things that they've been battling in their lives, but they're the group that's usually told no, or told not yet, or told you're not ready, which I think really affects their psyche and how they see themselves. So we get to be the people that say yes. And really give them that opportunity for them to prove themselves to themselves, but also to employers, to their family, and to go from being somebody who is kind of at the back of the line and moving them back to the front of the line. The numbers today tell us that about 500,000 people every year face chronic homelessness. So those are the folks who we see living on the streets in tent cities or in our shelter system. Millions more face episodic homelessness. So they're the ones who kind of cycle in and out of homelessness, find themselves living on the streets or couch surfing or extended stay hotels, living out of their cars, but really with no secure place to call home at night. And then the other population we serve, those individuals who are affected by our criminal justice system in the US, we have 1 in 3 Americans have a criminal background on their record right now. And unfortunately for employers, that's often a reason not to hire them. They're deemed too risky to hire. So we've left a tremendous amount of our potential labor force on the bench. So we believe that employment should be accessible for anybody that is ready and willing and able to work. So First Step Staffing is at heart a social enterprise. We use a staffing business model to hire and support men and women who are interested in getting back to work. So that means we partner with local businesses, for-profit businesses in the industries of manufacturing and hospitality and logistics who are looking for great people to come work in their environment. And they need those workers for their own bottom lines. So we engage a staffing contract with those companies. We serve as the employer of record, so we can hire the individual and then place them with all these amazing companies throughout the US. And it really does help that individual not just prove themselves to themselves, but prove themselves to an employer and open up a whole world of new opportunities. I mean, we all know without a job, many of us would find ourselves in a similar situation to the men and women that we serve. And we all, have different careers and different jobs. At the end of the day, we're working for income to support ourselves and our family. But I think we forget sometimes that a job is also a path towards new friendships, new social connections. It is a path towards dignity and a chance where you are giving back choices, where you can make decisions in your own life. So a job is about income, but it is about so much more. I think for the men and women that we serve, they're often getting told that they're the problem and not full of potential. And so I think for them not to have a hand out, but really a hand up, and a way to kind of get back on their feet in a way that they can control the outcomes is life-changing for them. It really is mind-blowing to see the facial expressions of somebody when they walk into our office. They're ready to be told no yet again, or they're not ready, or there's some reason that they can't be helped that day. And when we get to say, you have a job and it starts tomorrow, it literally, we've had people burst into tears because it is that life-altering for them to have the opportunity to go out and work. So one of the first people that I worked with when I came to First Step was a gentleman named Darnell. Darnell had been in the prison system in the U.S. He had come out of a fairly long prison term with really nowhere to turn when he got out. So he was in the local shelter system, was determined not to go back to the things that had put him in prison in the first time. And he said he applied for 20 different jobs within the span of 2 weeks and could never find an opportunity to work. And he was literally standing on a street corner crying, wondering what he was going to do. And some person that was in our program said, well, if you need a job, just go to First Step. And so he showed up, he got his first job, he got a second job. Ultimately, he ended working for one of the Major League Baseball teams that we partner with in the US, and was such a model employee for them, he threw out the first pitch of one of the games. So it really was his entry into a life that he never could have foreseen. He went on to have his own apartment, he went on to buy his first car, he reconnected with family, but it was really kind of the job that helped him turn that life around. For the individual, it really does change your mindset from being a burden and from being a problem and to being dependent into a new life path where you see opportunity, you see hope, and you see a place where you can be a contributing member of society and a contributing member of your community. And it centers around that chance for employment, because it automatically turns you in the US from being somebody who is very dependent on services provided by our government and other nonprofits to being a contributing taxpayer who's able to go out and give back to the communities that they live in. So we've had a relationship with the RTF now for a couple of years. Part of First Step story is we've really been focused in two directions. We've been focused on growth into new markets. Serving individuals in Atlanta, Georgia was great, but we know that there are so many more people across the US that could benefit from this service and kind of the private approach to what we do, and where we were getting asked to open in new cities all the time. So RTF has come alongside us to help us expand into new markets. The moment we can give an employment opportunity to someone who is used to getting turned away, kind of being pushed to the back of the line, it's instantly transformational for them. They see not only an opportunity for income to support themselves and their families, but they see a path towards hope, they see a purpose, and they see a chance to contribute to their communities.